Hey there, so I'm just going to show you a video of how the new unit works and some of the new software changes. So the new unit that arrived in the mail for you should look like this. Yours is a little thinner because you don't have a screen protector on your TV. So you're best to slide it on sideways on the screen. It has felt there to protect the screen. But if you push it down from the top, the felt might move a little bit, so I always slide it on from the side. So the first thing you want to do is download the latest software from the GitHub website under the releases page and just start up the 3D player software. I don't have an installer yet, so you just have to run it manually. You already know how to do that though. So then the first thing you're going to want to do is plug in your emitter. It uses the USB-C cable from the version 1 one, so you should just be able to plug it in and hook it up to your computer, same as before. Okay. And you don't need to use your computer with the emitter once you've set everything up. You can just plug it into the back of the TV for power and it'll work fine. But while we're doing the setup, you can change the values from the computer. So that's why I'm plugging it in there now. So the first thing you do is open the IR emitter settings dialog here. And we're just going to connect to the emitter. You may need to use a different COM port here if you have a different COM device. If you have multiple COM devices on your computer, it won't know which one it is necessarily, so you may need to change that. So once you connect, it'll show you the values on the emitter. Yours should look roughly like these ones, but you can always load, if you ever change these values and you need to get the original ones back, you can load the ones from the disk. So there's a folder LG OLED C1, and the ones you're probably going to want are either these custom firmware same cycle zero ghosting, or the one above it, custom firmware same cycle. The difference is this one has a bit of black vignetting at the top and the bottom of the screen, but it doesn't have any crosstalk between the two eyes, whereas this one has a tiny bit of crosstalk between the two eyes, but it doesn't have any vignetting. So yeah, let's just load that up just to show you how it works. And then you do update settings and save settings to EEPROM, and that'll mean that the settings will persist even when you power cycle the unit by unplugging the USB power or turning off your TV if it's plugged into the TV. So once that's done, let's leave that open, but let's just minimize it. So the next thing you're going to do is open TV settings, and you'll want to load the settings from disk. You'll want to go under LG OLED C1 and select the emitter V2 top left display settings file. And that should set these values up with something that should at least start to work, but you will need to change the display size here to be 48 for your TV. And you can also disable the calibration mode, or you can leave it on. We're going to do calibration. You can also toggle calibration by pressing the C key from within the video player software once it's already playing. So we'll just leave that there. You can close this window and you'll still be able to modify the settings. So let's close that and let's open a test video. So let's open the test video 1080p red blue side-by-side full, this one here. And we'll open it and save it as a new history entry so we can launch it quickly next time. So when we're doing calibration, you can pause, and that'll help eliminate any of the strange flicker you might see. So what we're going to do now is we're going to check that our unit is aligned at the top of the screen. So you can see here, if you press the WASD buttons, you can move the emitter trigger boxes around. The instructions are all on the screen here for calibration mode. And if you don't see this calibration mode, you can press C to toggle calibration mode on and off. You can also press H to get the normal playback help menu. So these are the normal playback help options here. C and V are the only two ones that are kind of non-standard things. V can let you see when your computer is dropping frames so that you can figure out whether you've got an issue with your CPU having too much load on it. And then when it drops frames, that can cause it to flicker momentarily for one or the other eyes. But anyways, let's leave that for now. So let's go back to calibration mode. So if you use WASD to move the boxes up and down, you can use Q and E to change the spacing between them, and you can use Z and C to also change the size of them. So I'll just show you by moving them. I'll lift the unit off so you can see what it looks like on the screen. So that's what it looks like on the screen. Mine wasn't quite centered, so I'm going to move it over a little bit. And that should be centered, and that should be good for me. But if you do need to move it around, let's show you. Press S to go down, W to go up, or yeah, D to go right, and A to go left, and then change the spacing with the Q and E buttons. So I'll move it down so you can see that. Q, E, size with Z and X. X goes bigger, Z goes smaller. Okay, so I'll move it back up to where it was before, so I can't see it, so it's behind the box. Okay, so the next thing you can do is you can take your glasses and you can turn them on and point them at the screen, and you should see that it's a bit hard to tell because the polarizing lens on the glasses can also not work well with cameras, but the left eye is red, the right eye is blue, and you should see that at the top and the bottom there's a bit of a black vignetting just because of the fact that we turned it to the zero ghosting mode. Whereas if you change it to the no vignetting mode profile setting, then you'll have a bit of purple at the top and the bottom in both eyes instead of a bit of black. But anyway, so that's how it looks with these. So you can also change, so if you have it so that at the top of the screen there's a bit of a black bar and at the bottom there's no black bar, you can recenter that by adjusting the frame delay. So to adjust the frame delay, you use the I value to decrease it and the K value to increase it. And you use the O and L values to adjust the frame duration. And the frame delay is when it triggers the shutter glasses to open, and the frame duration is how long the shutter glasses are open for before it closes them. So you can play with those two settings while you're wearing the glasses. It's a little hard to do it with one hand while I show you how it works. But if you hold the shift key, any of the values will move more quickly. So for example, I will change the frame delay here to make it so that there's a large border at the top of the screen with black. So let me just do this. So if I press K, so I moved it down. So now there's a bit, so now when I put the glasses in front, you'll see there's a bit of red at the top on the wrong eye. You can see there's red on that eye and there's blue on the other eye because I changed the frame delay. And you can see there it shows you the frame delay, 2095. So let's put it back to what it was before. So what was it again? Shift, frame delay, decrease I. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that was what it was before. Now you can see it's back to normal. So the blue and the red are on the right eyes. Okay, so that's how you can do the calibration. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back and just show you some. So that's basic calibration. So you can close this now. Click C to turn off calibration. Escape to close the window. So let's just open a video to show you how that works. So I've got so we got the calibration video we opened last time here, and we opened and saved it so it would stay in the quick load drop down. So let's open another video. I think I've got Big Buck Bunny here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Big Buck Bunny, yeah. And it's an over and under file. But depending on if the file names have the typical file names will have OU for over under, or TAB for top and bottom, or they'll have SBS for side by side and full. And the file name parser will parse them and try to set these values properly depending on the file name. But this one's not named like a standard file would be, so you have to manually set it. So it's over under, and it's full. So for this one, we'll do this. There's some other options here, like for debugging options, which I may ask you to use if you run into problems and I need to help figure out why a video isn't playing properly. But let's just open this for now. I've set the right eye on the bottom. I can't remember if it's the top or the bottom, but let's just see. You can always flip it by pressing F afterwards. So open and save new entry. Okay, so the video is playing now. So I'll put the glasses on.